So Collision Course came out in 2004. So the way that this EP came to be was MTV actually went to Jay-Z and they said, "Hey, we want to do a mashup of your music and then, whatever like kind of sound you want to do a mashup of.
Okay.
You can choose anyone you want and we'll do our best to get him." And he
Holy-
chose Linkin Park.
Holy shit.
And from there, they initially, so from there they approached Linkin Park and they're like, "Hey, like, you guys are already good at like mixing stuff. Do you want to mix up like a song and then
See
we'll
how it
send it back
goes.
to Jay and see what he says?"
Yeah.
So Shinoda mixes up he doesn't just mix up one. He makes like several,
Yeah.
mashups of,
Yeah.
of their stuff. Sends it back to Jay-Z and he's like, "Oh yeah, like
Let's go.
let's go. Like this is gonna be sweet." So it was supposed to be one song, and they ended up doing the EP, which
6.
is 6. And so how'd you?
Masterpiece. Another masterpiece. It's so. This is what I was talking about with high caliber like features, but this isn't even a features. This is a joint album.
It's a collaboration, yeah.
Jay-Z's done this a couple times. He did that joint album with Kanye a little while back. I forget the name of it, but
Watch the Throne.
yeah, Watch the Throne. But this is weird as fuck, especially coming from like a Jay-Z's so entrenched in hip hop that you would never expect him to be like, "Yeah, I think I'll go with a heavy metal Linkin Park as my mix up here."
Right, and for Jay-Z, like Jay-Z is, and at this time, he's still like he's at the top of like the rap game.
At
It's
his
not-
prime, yeah.
Yeah,
This is post Black Album.
right.
Yeah, it's a wild choice to choose, but again, it kind of makes sense because they defy that the stereotype of we're a rock band, we're sticking with rock, this is what we do, and they mix it up. They're changing their sound constantly, and it kind of makes sense when you think about it. Like, yeah, I could see Jay-Z going with this. If you had never heard any of these songs, but you had heard Meteora and Hybrid Theory, you could be like, "Oh, I mean, weird, but okay, I see it." Masterclass. They do a great job here. So every song is it's a combination of a Jay-Z song and a Linkin Park song. It's not just like one or the other where Shinoda might jump in on a Jay-Z lyric. It's both. And it's normally played to the track of one or the other. So like Dirt Off Your Shoulder, hold on a second. I can't see the whole name of the song.
It's Dirt Off Your Shoulder, Lying From You.
Yes, Dirt Off Your Shoulder, Lying From You. I'm pretty sure it's played to the track of Lying From You, and Jay-Z going Dirt Off Your Shoulder, and I think they mix a little bit of Lying From You at the end. Weird mix. Awesome. Jay-Z jumps on the track perfectly.
Right. In the whole EP, it works so well. Like even the next track, Big Pimpin' and Paper Cut. Like hearing him rap Big Pimpin' over Paper Cut, like you would never guess in a million years like that would be a mashup that you needed to hear.
It's such a weird combo, but I love it. I love everything here. Gigawatt Faint. Am I gonna get canceled for saying that? Again, this is played to the track of Faint. Right? Gigawatt Faint is played to like it's actually not even like the real like one or the other. This is again a mix where they mix the sound of Gigawatt and Faint like back and forth kind of, and then they get on it. And Jay-Z just jumps right in and embraces Faint to like the highest extent.
Yeah, you know why I think this works so well too is with Linkin Park, like when you hit the chorus of a Linkin Park song and it's like a fast-paced mix, and then you have Jay-Z rapping over it where it's faster, and like Jay-Z's obviously a much better like rapper than like Mike Shinoda.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a natural fit.
That's a great way of putting it. It just feels organic. Like it makes a lot of like if Jay-Z was in Linkin Park, it would make a ton of sense. And perfect examples here. Numb Encore, obviously fantastic. No doubt there. That's
a classic.
I don't know if it's a single necessarily, but that's the hit off this.
Yeah, it's got over 800 million streams.
Wow, yeah, another great mix. Izzo and In the End, it's a little bit more poppy, kind of upbeat, but the track opens with Jay-Z just kind of like talking to one of the producers or the engineers or something, and then they get into it and just mix it up back and forth again. It's fun. This is the fun song on this album.
Oh, for sure.
And then Points of Authority, 99 Problems. If you were looking for something a little bit heavier, and you want Jay-Z to really wrap up Linkin Park and just dive on in there, you got Shinoda on the first verse of 99 Problems, which is a little weird.
Yeah.
But it's to the backtrack of Points of Authority
And One Step Closer.
and One Step Closer later on in the song.
Yeah.
Shinoda kills it in the first verse, which is, again, weird, but he kills it. Jay-Z gets on during Points of Authority. It does the second and third verse, kills it. They close the song out with Chester doing One Step Closer. Wild combo. This is mashed potatoes and ketchup. But wow, man, God, I love that. That's my second favorite song on this album, or EP, whatever.
Oh, I think my favorite is Numb Encore, and then my second favorite is Dirt Off Your Shoulder, Lion From You.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I think I mentioned this to you on, I don't know if it was Saturday or early a different time, but I think in terms of remixing albums, like, tell me who stands to compete with Linkin Park in remixing their music.
Yeah, I mean, the first names that come to mind are all like EDM artists. That's kind of their
right,
game.
but that's their whole that's the whole
shtick.
thing.
Yeah.
That's how they make their money. Like Linkin Park, I think why they're like at the top of the mountain for me is like they didn't have to do any of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
They do it like because it sounds
what they
good and
wanna
it's
do.
and it's fun and they want to do it.
That's wild. MTV just put in 2004. I feel like man, let's see. I was 6 years old, so I probably wasn't watching a ton of MTV, but the fact that in 2004 they still had that kind of pull to be like, yeah, you know what? We'll get Jay-Z. You go find somebody.
Yeah, Jay-Z, pick whoever you want to work with. That's crazy.
And we'll just do it. Like MTV back in the 90s did these like unplugged shows where they'd get like bands to do this. They got Pearl Jam. Nirvana famously did this. Pearl Jam, Stone Temple Pilots, a bunch of other bands did like unplugged shows on MTV. But back in the 90s, I feel like MTV still had that kind of like cachet. By the time the 2000s come around, I don't know if they do. Maybe they did.
They did up until I think like the back half of like the early 2000s. So like I think they kind of had it through like when the 2010s started, then they really started to decline.
Right, and they were always also known for the reality TV stuff, which kind of popped off in 2007, 2008 with Jersey Shore. Like,
yeah, for sure.
But that's when it really changes. So you got Jersey Shore, and then a little while after that, you got Ridiculousness, which is basically like the MTV should just change to the Ridiculousness channel,
The Rob Dyrdek channel, Fantasy Factory, all that. Yeah,
right. But the fact that they were able to put that together, it was such two high-profile artists from completely different walks. Just a masterpiece. That's all I got.
And it's crazy that's what MTV started with. It's like, all right, the bar is here. Like, where can we go from here?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think MTV had any other mashups where they were like, all right, Stone Temple Pilots, let's see you get together with
Eminem.
What? Yeah, so wild choice, but so cool.
Yeah.
I think that's all I got on that.
Yeah, me too.